Today's Rambam, Hilchas Meilah, Perik Zayin, Halacha Ches. Rambam writes the following. He writes, Hamoyel b'poches mishavet pruta. A person did Meilah, he used hektish, less than a shavet pruta. The amount that he used was worth less than a shavet pruta. Bein bezodin, bein b'shgoga, whether it was b'mezid, whether it was b'shoigig, meshalem es hakeren, you pay the amount of how much it costs. The Eini chayiv chaymesh v'lei korban, but you don't pay the additional chaymesh, and you don't bring a korban. V'yiroeli, it seems to me, she'einu loike al pochus mishavet pruta im hoyam mezid. If it's a mezid, you don't get malchus either. In other words, as we know from the last prokim, that in Meilah there's two options. If a person is meil b'shegig, so normally you pay the keren plus a chaymesh and plus bring a korban. If a person is meil b'mezid, so you'll play the keren plus malchus. And here, that's a regular Meilah, but a regular Meilah is b'shavet pruta. Like the Rambam said right in the beginning of Hilchas Meilah, in Perik Aleph, in Perik Aleph, Halacha Gimel, V'chol hanene b'shavet pruta mikodshe Hashem moal. Perik Aleph, Halacha Aleph, the first Halacha, that Meilah is b'shavet pruta. So here today we're learning that if you're meil b'pachas b'shavet pruta, then you only pay the keren. You don't do anything else. Not the chaymesh and not the korban, and usually the Rambam says also not malchus. This halacha that you pay by Meilah pachas b'shavet pruta, you pay back the keren to hektish, is a special chidush by hektish. As a normal, by gneva, by gzela, by regular halachas, there's no din in pachas b'shavet pruta. There's no din hashava in pachas b'shavet pruta. There's no din in pachas b'shavet pruta in regular din hatar. But by Meilah we find that if you were meil mihektish pachas b'shavet pruta, you have to pay the keren. What's the asbara of this? So the Amos says it's a limud in Gemara. Kesef Mishnah brings it's a brayse in Perik Hazov, but Metzia the eis asher chota min hektish yishalem lerabis pachas b'shavet pruta lehishavim. The extra word the eis asher chota min hektish is marba that you pay back when you pay hektish, even pachas b'shavet pruta you have to pay back the hektish. So it's a limud of a pasuk. But like all limudim, we don't have to learn that it's exeris hakosuf. The shaila is, what's the hagdaras hadvarim? Why is it here different? What was the Torah telling us when it's megala? That when it comes to hektish, you have to pay even pachas mishavet pruta back. So that it leads into a very big and general and very interesting machlekes and discussion amongst a number of the great achreinim about what's the geder of isur Meilah b'chlal. There's two general ways to understand the isur of Meilah. Some learn that it's a geder of gzela. There's a gzela from hektish. Yes, that this belongs to hektish, belongs to the Eibishter. So when you take it, it's a din of gzela. Elamai, it has different dinim than a regular gzela. There's dinim of gzela and a hektish, and there's dinim of gzela and a hektish, and that's called Meilah. But the concept is that it's a monetary thing. I'm taking away mirashus gaveh. There is others that learn very strongly differently, and they say no. Meilah is not a word of gzela, and you're not stealing from the hektish. It's an isur. It's an isur to be mishtamish with hektish. Some say it's bizoyin kodshim. There's an isur hano from kodshim. So really, it's not a geder. It's not a geder of mominus, of gzela, of taking it from rishus hektish. It's an isur on the person to be mishtamish with hektish. Kilo it's a din isur vehet, not a din mominus. The shaila is it a din mominus of taking the momin that belongs to hektish, or is din isur vehet that it's osur lishtamish mena hektish. And therefore, it's totally different. Over here, it's not like Zela. Over here, there's a korban, and over here, there's Malchus, and over here, there's a Chemish. All of these inyanim which don't apply to a regular Zela. That's the general chkira. The Moshel, take the Er Sameach in the beginning of Hilchas Meilah and Perik Aleph as a whole arichas. He talks about the fact that by Meilah the din is that from Meil b'mezid, so you have to pay and you get Malchus. Frakter and many ask that it's against the general cloud that we have in Shas, that a person is not like him Mashallah. Normally you don't pay and get Malchus. Why is Meilah different? So the Sameach is Ma'irich, and the Kudus Advarim is, he says, because since the Isser Meilah is not a din mominus, it's a din Isser. It's not that you're gazling from hektish. So when you're paying back for Meilah, it's not like a paying of a gzela. And therefore he says the following, he has a yisaid, when do you say ein loikin Mashallah? When you're loikin and Mashallah for two separate reasons. So it's not a din mominus Mashallah. It's not a din Isser leike. So you can't be loikin Mashallah. But by Meilah, being that they both come from the same Isser and the same pasuk and the same yisaid, and it's a gather of an Isser to be mishtamash with hektish, and that Isser has Sai Malchus and Sai Tashlumus, so then you do both of them. Zakir Sameach, a raya to them or a mokir to them is the halacha we just learned in Rambam that by Meilah you pay pachas mishava pruta. If it will be a din of gzela, if it will be a din mominus, by mominus we don't find pachas mishava pruta. So from the fact that Isur Meilah is pachas mishava pruta, this says that the chiv yeshavim, the chiv to return the Meilah is even pachas mishava pruta is a raya zoter sameach that we're not talking about a din of mominus, we're talking about a din of nisavat. The Rabbi Yosef Engel is Asvan Deraisa, is Gimel, is Meirich, pages and pages on this union and this suffix of what's the gather of Meilah. He brings that the sheet of the K'tzos, Sayin is Chibur the K'tzos and Sayin is Chibur Shachshmaitza, is also, al derech what we just said, B'Shem Der Sameach, that the din Meilah is not mitzad that you're taking something away from the Rishus of Hekdesh, Kila Mominis the Kerinyan, Akzela the Kerinyan. It's only mitzad the Kedusha of Hekdesh. It's a din in Kedusha, not in Mominis, not in Rishus. The K'tzos explains with that. The mashal the din, he brings a din that if you have a beir shal hektish and the beir is nesmala mayim, so the hektish is kain of the mayim because the mayim fell into the beir. Chotzer is kain, but nevertheless, being that nobody was makdish that mayim, it doesn't have a din me'ilah. Zaktik tzos, same yisod. Yes, that it actually belongs now to hektish without the rishus of hektish, but nobody was makdish it, so me'ilah there's no din me'ilah because me'ilah is not a din of taking away from the rishus of hektish. Al derech says Zokter that there's a machlekes in Gemara about goyim, about kodshe goyim. For goy is makdish a behema. Is there a din me'ilah? Even though he says that hektish is kain of the korban, going to bring korbanos kiyado. So the hektish is kain of the korban, but it doesn't have a din kedusha. So maybe the shaila is there a din me'ilah? Even though it's for sure from the rishus of hektish, but me'ilah is not totally in rishus; it's totally in kedusha. The Shef Shmaitz says that's why he says to be moitzim in a hektish, you don't need two eidim, you need eid echad because the din of yisurin. Says to be machnis l'rishus, to give up over something for another rishus, you need two eidim, but to take out of rishus of hektish, it's a din of eid echad and yisurin because the din of yisur heter, not a din of rishus. So upon the Rabbi Svengel brings it that the K'tzos shita is that the din of Meilah is not a din of bailus mominus and gzela, rather it's a din of ishtamshus of kedusha. So maybe we have it there. So Meir that learns that way. The K'tzos that learns that way. The Rabbi Svengel himself is mistapik. He brings Rayis Lakan. Rayis Lakan is not convinced. It's interesting. Reb Chaim in the Sefer and the Rambam in Meilah Perikhes, he learns very strongly the other way. He says that he says that Meilah is a din of gzela sektish. Takit has different dinim in certain halachas than the regular gzela, but you say that davar is that it's a din of gzela from hektish. And he brings a raya. He says the etzim meaning that the shir of Meilah is shava pruta. If it's Yisur Heter always should be a shir kazayis. Achila would be a kazayis. We don't find in Yisur Heter shava pruta. Shava pruta is a moministic yirin. So if it's a moministic yirin, we're talking about gzela sektish. He says also we find a Meilah it could be mitzaref. You take a pachim shava pruta today and a pachim shava pruta tomorrow. It's mitzaref to one shir gadol. Says if it would be an Yisur. So Yisur has a zman, whatever it is, different zmanim. How can you be mitzaref? And he says not just that two people can be mitzaref together. One person uses a chelik and then he sends someone else to the other chelik is mitzaref. He says all of these in yonim show clear that it's a din of gzela sektish. And with that he explains the whole Rambam about that you need a special pasuk that by lisachsim sher b'dishay, by lisachsim of a person b'dayish, a pale, working by you, that even by hekdish. That by hektish he's not allowed to eat. That if it's a soda shel hektish, he's not allowed to eat. In fact, why are we going to have such a pasuk? No isurim is the pale allowed to do. The answer is it's not in of isur, it's in of gzela. And misad the din of letting a pale take food, so there's no din gzela. So maybe you need a special pasuk that he can't take from hektish. I'll call upon him. The shita of Reb Chaim is very strong that the din of Meilah is a din of gzela. So I told you just to make a sikum over here. We have the Sameach who told us that it's a din of Isser, Ishtamshus behektish. We have the K'tzos, saying is safe for the K'tzos, saying Shef Shmaitza. He learns that it's a din of Ishtamshus and hektish. And Rabbi Svengel himself is mistapik and brings Rayis Lakan, a lot of Rayis Lakan. And Reb Chaim who says with that grace to take it, that Meilah is a din moment. He says, if you hold that Meilah is a din Yisur Heter, that is a issue shtamshus bekodshim, and that's the whole Yisayid of Meilah. So then there's no kasha from today's Rambam B'chlal. Why it's bepachas mishava pruta? Yisur Heter could be in anything. Bepachas mishava pruta also. Fakir Yisur Heter is typically not connected with the shava pruta. So that talking like we said, there's some access. He learns from this word in today's Rambam. There's a din Yisur Heter, not a din moment. If you learn like Reb Chaim and the other tzad, The Meilah is betzim a din of gzeila. Just like this din of gzeila of Meilah has a number of differences from other dinim of gzeila, like our korban hashamilas and chemish. Al derech that has another din that the Torah was megala that even the pachas b'shavet pruta, you also there's a din yishav. It's taki gzeila and it's different than gzeila, and this gzeila pachas b'shavet pruta tafanechet also has a din yishav. I'll say with the rachagav, someone can ask the lachayr of pachas b'shavet pruta, it's not a din moment b'chla. In other words, if Meilah is a din moment, it's a gzeila, and pachas b'shavet pruta is not considered moment. If it's not considered moment, how's the shaykh to say that there is machmir to say that there's a din hayshavin if it's not a gather of moment? But the ma'aseh is that that's not a kasha because there's a number of mikeres that pachas b'shavet pruta is din moment. We find the Alter Rebbe Pasuk in the Shulchan Aruch gzeila pachas b'shavet pruta is also midiraisa. And my Mishnah says that in the Hilchos Gzeila Ramam in the beginning, that pachas b'shavet pruta is a issue deraisa. That means there is a din moment. It's not a shir sholim, so it's not typically a din hishavim, but it's not true. It's not a din moment. I mean, there are those that say it's not a din moment. There's Sefer, Andre, I'm from Tosfos, but there's plenty of shittas, like I said, Alter Rebbe, my Mishnah and the Rambam, that they say pachas b'shavet pruta also is a gather of moment. It's just not the right shir of moment. But Meilah Kemishin Zogen that over here also Meilah was nizgala that over here pachas b'shavet pruta there's a din hishavim. Well, this is the two tzdodim. How you doing? Again, it's a big grade. I mentioned a few svarim, a lot of svarim talk about these two tzdodim and bring rayas lakan from different harishain. If I may, a ha'arak tana. We have here a very big machlekes and two extreme ways to learn, and each one says it in the ganze teikif. Perhaps it could be that there's a way to make that it's not such a big machlekes. Aderech hamitzua a little bit in this big shaila about the gather of Meilah. I want to say b'kitzur. I saw in the Rebbe's Sichos in a couple of places, the Rebbe says a very interesting verse. That is that typically when you have two reshuyos, when you have something that's in Reuven's reshus, something in Sim's reshus, so b'mehus hadvarim, there's no difference. This belongs to the person A, and this belongs to the person B. So it's a technical thing. This is mine and this is yours. Amol, it goes to a different reshus. That different reshus is a different gather. It's a different eichus. It's a different muhus. And then it's in ganzen removed from the first person. I'll give you two dugmois from the sikha. So one sikha you have, it's in Chelek Lamed Hey in Chayesor Aleph. Sikha Aleph and Chayesor, and the pasuk by Avram Avinu after he buys Morris Machpelah, it says Vayokom Sdei Ephraim. So Rashi Tkuma Hoysole Sheyotza Miyad Hedyet Liad Melech. That this Sdei Ephraim Tkuma was raised up and went from a Hedyet to a Melech. Arichis in the Sikha. When the Kudas had Varim later in the Biur and his Dalit says the Rebbe says Achiluk begader Akinyan. Kishehedyet kene mehedyet gam kisheechod choshuv mehasheni. So even when one person buys from another person, so the Meilah there's a shaykhus between the two. First it was Reuven's and then it was Shimon's. Reuven gave it to Shimon. Says so. The name of the kinyan is it's leaving the first and going to the second. Aval kasher melech keinem mehedyet hari ze be'efen da'afkoas reshus legamri ve'ein liyachsi kan l'shem ha'proti shel ish shehu zeh shemocher asod l'melech. When a melech takes it, it's not like it's going from A to B. A gets totally lost; it moves on to a different gather. Tkum mahoisalei shenaser reshus shel melech. The Rebbe explains it whatever everyone's explained. But perhaps much more negel in Yonenu is a sicha in Chelek Chof Vov Truma, also the first sicha Truma. There is the whole sicha about ve'osu li mikdosh. Rashi says ve'osu li lishmi. The Rebbe at a room that l'chtila was v'yikchu li Truma, so it was already li. You gave Truma to the Beis Hamikdash, it was already li. It was given to the Eibishter. And then ve'osu li mikdosh, you have to make it again li lishmi. What are the two dinim of lishmi? The Rebbe says like this. He says, "Bam, the word Truma has two pshatim. There's Truma Miloshen Hafrosha, Miloshen Haroma. Hafrosha means that you separated from one Rishus to another Rishus. Haroma means not just it's going from A to B, but it's being picked up to a whole different type, a whole different gather and type of Rishus. Yeah, I'll read the Loshen Arab. Hafrosha means as die Sache ist blaze abgescheit geworden von anderen Sachen. B'mehusa sie verblieben in demselben Gather wie andere Sachen. Der Chiluk zwischen sie is nur ani verschiedene Mokim Rishus. Hafrosha means it's the same thing. It just went from A to B. Beschas man sagt aber, Harome weiß es verschiedene Muhus. Die Sache ist aufgehoben geworden. Sie ist eine höheren Ort und Madrege. Also sie hat nicht kein Scheiches mit dem Ort und Meile von die Sachen, zwischen welche sie ist früher given. Harome is a whole new dargin. It's not just moved over from one rishus to the other, it was upraised to a different level altogether. Al derech, we said from the Sikha and Chilik Elamed Aleph about Tkum Mahisali, Yotzam Yad Hedgit Yad Melech. Is Meilah Kim and Trachnev Shrazei. Oh, so the Rebbe says over there in the Sikha and Chavav that V'yichuli Truma, when the Yidden gave it, that was V'yichuli to give it into the Rishus HaHektish. It became Moment Shal Hektish. But then V'osuli Mikdash, Bayis Shal Kedusha, is now it's becoming not just going into a different Rishus HaHektish, it's being picked up to become a Mokim Kodesh. Now it's already a different gather altogether. The says, in other words, when something becomes hektish, hektish is two steps away from a regular person. First of all, there's the nechasim of a regular person, and it becomes the nechasim of hektish. That's like the technical thing. It's not by me, it's by them. And then it's in hektish guf, it goes up to become rishus hagavoya. And that's a different type of rishus altogether from the rishus of a regular person. It's kind of shazayim legabi this big shaila about what's the gather of Meilah. Is it gzela like a Chaim Tainas and his mechiach? It's gzela. I'm taking it away from the other rishus, or is it din kedusha, like the Sameach said, or the Chtzos said? It's a din kedusha, din shamshas kedusha, bezoin kedusha. Kanesh zayin. That is both. It's a din of taking it away from the rishus hahektish. It's din gzela, but it's not like a regular gzela, which is taking it from one rishus to another that are both the same type of rishus. It's being gezela from the Eibishter. That's a different type of a rishus. And that's why there's so many differences in halacha between this gzela and other gzelas. Einachanami is gzela. And that's why Taki says Shiri B'Shav Pruta, like Reb Chaim says. And that's why it's Shaykhat Siruf and all the rice of Reb Chaim. But nevertheless, it's not just a gzela mirishus l'rishus. It's a gzela mirishus ha'kedusha l'rishus ha'hedyin. And Meilah, this gzela is be'efamach l'gam. Because in a regular gzela, you're taking something that really ba'atzim could be here, could be there, and you're taking it from there to here. Here you're taking something that has no shaykhis to a hedyet, and you're taking it from Rishus HaKedusha to Rishus HaHedyet. That's the ultimate gzela, two different types of Rishus and B'muhus. And that's not why there's different dinim. And Kenzan, that's not why here's Pachel B'Shav Pruta also. Because this is a different type of gzela. This is a gzela from a different type of Rishus. Meilah, it has all the different dinim, including the Pachel B'Shav Pruta has a din Heshavim. Maybe one word. I don't know if this is a real word, perhaps to understand better this word by Pachas B'Shav Pruta is different by Hektish. When you're taking away from Rishus Echel, Rishus Sheni, a regular Gnever, Gzela, so the Chayfet, that's something could be by me also. Before it was by Reuven. I took it to me. It's Reuven's, it's mine. I could have bought it, it would have been mine. It's not mufrach to be by me. It's not be'etzim can't be by me. So then if it has a Shavuot Pruta, I have to return it. If it doesn't have a Shavuot Pruta, no, there's no Chiyav HaShavuot. Megas bleiben bei mir. Because it's not mufrach to be by me. Mashenkin a Chayfet Shel Kedusha, which is mufrach to be by a Hedjit. Because it's mufka, it's in a different darga, harom, it's a different darga altogether. It can't be by a person. So man of communities of Shavuot Pruta, Pachus Shavuot Pruta. Even if it's Pachus Shavuot Pruta, every drop it's mufrach to be by the person. Now there we find Mitzad Afochi, even a drop because it's mufrach. That's mean is mufrach. Here also, yes, that this is a gzela from a different type of rishus. That's mufka from the hedyet. Every little chelik, every drop, even Pachus Shavuot Pruta, also has a din yeshav. Interessant. When you had the whole mice of Hetevis and Yena Gigamvitz foreign. From the Siador, so the Rebbe said in Fabrengens as that when a person is holding such a thing in his house, it's a lebedike bombe. In other words, this thing can't be there. A dover kodesh, a dover of the Nasi Ader, adin shel hektish. So like finished by a hedyet, it can't be there. It's a problem. Not just like a regular gzela. I took somebody's table. It's something that's mufrach. It's mufketh to be by this person. I feel a pachel Shavuot Pruta.